How's it going, everyone? I hope you all are doing great. I am Doc Radu and I am back with another daily analysis, starting off with the Forex pair, and I'm gonna start off with Euro CHF, a trade that was discussed and also sent yesterday in the Discord that triggered and is currently running in some nice profit. It smashed the take profit one right here yesterday. Okay, we can go ahead and go on a lower time frame to see exactly what a reaction price had to our limit entry. As you can see, very beautiful sniper entry and went straight into profit. So yeah, let's quickly discuss once again about this setup, about why I decided to send this setup. Okay, so the reason I decided to send this setup yesterday, in case you didn't saw the live session that I hosted yesterday, was very simple. I saw a very aggressive break of structure to the downside that left a lot of imbalance behind. It also left this nice fair value gap here that lined up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, and I also enabled the TradeOrg SMC indicator for some added confluences, and guess what? The TradeOrg graph showed me instantly that it is okay for us to look for short opportunities, and we also had the TradeOrg order block that was lining up perfectly with our area of interest. Okay, so all these confluences combined made me say, okay, this setup is a valid one to take. Okay, that's why yesterday we discussed about it, we analyzed it together. After that, I sent it in the Discord, and then a few hours later, it triggered and it smashed TP1 very, very quickly. Okay, so that's about it for this pair. Moving on to AUD USD, another setup that triggered, another sell limit setup that triggered. Okay, so on this one, real quick, why did we take this setup? We had a very clear liquidity sweep here, followed by a very impulsive break of structure to the downside. Okay, we always see we can always see when a break of structure is impulsive or not. How can we see that? We look for imbalance. Okay, we look for inefficiencies or for gaps, however you want to call it. We also had this fair value gap that was lining up perfectly with our fire zone, and after that we just waited for price to pull back correctively towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, and if we enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator, we can see that again the graph was lining up perfectly. Why? Because the 4-hour and the daily were bearish. I don't really care about the 60-minute and the 15-minute time frame, okay, because these are lower time frames, but seeing that the TradeOrg graph showed me that the daily and the 4-hour is bearish made me even more confident that this setup will be a good one. And of course, we also had the TradeOrg order block indicator that was lining up perfectly with our area of interest. Okay, so again, all these confluences combined made me consider taking this setup. Okay, and of course, that doesn't mean that if you have all the confluences in the world, you will have a 100% win rate. No, that will never exist. I just want to make you aware of it in case you aren't already. But of course, it will give you a higher chance of success. All right. So yeah, these are the two running trades that we currently have. Of course, if you missed them, if you missed these trades yesterday, because like I said, these trades were sent yesterday. If you missed them, no worries, more will come. There's no point for you to enter now due to FOMO. Okay, there's no point to do that because like I said, more trades like this will come in the future as well. Next up, we have EuroCAD. Okay, a setup that is valid, and let me tell you exactly why. So we had this liquidity sweep here on the 4-hour, followed by a very impulsive break of structure to the downside. Okay, after I see impulsive break of structure, you guys already know what comes next. I want to see a inefficiency, imbalance, or gap, however you want to call it. And check this out. We have a very beautiful fair value gap that lines up perfectly with our fire zone. After that, all there's left is for us to look for a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. Okay, and we can also enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator. On this one, the only confluence I had was the graph. The daily was bearish, and that gave me an extra confluence to be like, okay, I am actually trading this setup with the higher time frame, which is great. Okay, because yes, this might seem like a small reversal on the 4-hour, but this on the daily could be just a pullback before price heads down even lower. Okay, so that's exactly why we considered taking this setup on Euro CAD. Next up, we have NZD USD, and of course, as always, feel free to let me know if there's any questions. Okay, I'll make sure to answer them. Next up, NZD USD, we have a very beautiful buy limit opportunity on this one. We have a very beautiful break of structure to the upside, impulsive. Again, imbalance has been left behind. We have this unmitigated order block here that is lining up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, we also have inducement here. Okay, why? Because people, retail traders might buy when the price reaches this area here. They might consider this area here a support. Okay, and what price might do is might stop them out, grab the liquidity, tap us in, and then go up. That will be like the most ideal scenario for us. Okay, so once again, aggressive break of structure, imbalance being left behind, a unmitigated order block lines up perfectly with our fire zone. We also have inducement. Now all that's left is for us to get a nice corrective pullback in order to pull the trigger. And so far we kind of have a corrective pullback. And if we enable the trader SMC indicator, boom, check this out. The graph looks green. Okay, so this is a perfect confluence for us to be like, okay, we are also lining up with the time frames, so it's great for us to consider this setup. All right, so yeah, that's that on NZD USD. Now we can move on to the next pair, which is Odd Chef. Okay, so on this one we have a potential sell limit opportunity. We had a very nice change of momentum here. Price broke structure here, fairly aggressive. Okay, we can see a lot of imbalance has been left behind. Another unmitigated order block that lines up perfectly with our fire zone. And now all we want to see is a corrective pullback. And so far we do have a corrective pullback. So this is a great sign towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. Okay, and if we enable the TradeOrc SMC indicator, check this out. The TradeOrc order block lining up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, and again, the TradeOrc graph again lining up perfectly with our overall setup. So this is great. This is great. I love when I see the TradeOrc indicator lining up perfectly with the setup I marked up. Next up, we have GBP CAD. Okay, this one has a potential buy limit setup. So here, first thing that we can see is this impulsive break of structure, right? It's so easy to see this huge candle that moved price higher and left this huge fair value gap behind that lines up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, we also have a small liquidity sweep here below this low. Okay, right before price broke higher, and we also have a pretty corrective pullback, which looks really, really good. And we also formed inducement here because again, traders might buy from this level, price might stop them out, tap us in, and then go up. Okay, so we also have inducement, which is another added confluence for us to take this setup. And lastly, on this one, we didn't really have a TradeOrc indicator confluence, but again, it is totally fine. We don't need to have an indicator confluence on every single setup we have. Okay, so now once again, all there's left is for us to see a corrective pullback, which again, to be fair, we already have in order to pull the trigger. Okay, so that's why this setup is valid. Next up, we have USD CAD, and of course, these are the setups, the filtered setups, because before I went live, as I always mention, I go through all the currency pairs and see which pairs present a potential setup and which don't, because there's no point for us to discuss about a pair that's just consolidating and it's in an ugly range. Like, there's no point for us to waste any time on pairs like that and discuss about them. Okay, so next up, USD CAD. This is a very beautiful setup, and let me tell you why. So on this one, if we go on the daily, right, check this out. We are rejecting from a daily unmitigated supply level. Okay, so this is very beautiful, a very good higher time frame confluence. And on the 4-hour, check this out. We have a very nice change of momentum here, liquidity sweep followed by a aggressive break of structure to the downside. Again, imbalance has been left behind. We have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, And now all there's left is for us to get a nice corrective pullback in order to pull the trigger. Okay, and if we enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator on this one, again, we don't really have a confluence with it, but like I said, we don't need to have an indicator confluence on all of our setups. Okay, that's not necessary. All right, so that was that for USD CAD. Lastly, we will discuss about GBP JPY. This will be our last currency pair for today that we will discuss about. That presented a potential buy limit opportunity. Okay, so on this one, we had a very nice push to the upside that broke structure here. Ideally, I would like to see this high being broken as well before price might start retracing. Okay, and the reason I took this setup is because I saw this very beautiful imbalance here. I saw this beautiful order block that's been unmitigated that lines up perfectly with our fire zone. So again, what I would like to see now is a break of this high as well. That would be ideal. And then a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. And then if we enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator, this gives us a great confluence. Check this out. So the TradeOrg graph looks amazing. Okay, every single time frame is bullish, so that is great for us. And secondly, we also have the TradeOrg order block lining up perfectly with our area of interest. Okay, so this is super, super wonderful. And yeah, that's why this setup is a valid buy limit opportunity. Okay, like I said, now all there's left is to see a nice corrective pullback in order for us to pull the trigger. Okay, and yeah, that being said, this pretty much ends today's Forex analysis. As always, make sure to let us know in the Discord if there's any questions, and take care. Alright, so now I will go over today's metals analysis, starting off with gold. Okay, so on gold, since yesterday we said that we are pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Why? Because we rejected from this daily demand level, okay, pretty impulsively actually, and we said here that we either want to see this this one right here being broken to look for some buys to take price up towards the 1920 area, okay, or we want to see a very impulsive reaction to this level that will push price lower, break structure here, okay, and then look for some sells to take price lower. But we are still in the middle of nowhere. Okay, we are still in the middle of nowhere. So to be fair, I would just adjust these drawings, and this is exactly what I'm waiting for on gold. Till then, I'm not going to look for any setups because there's no point. All right, so this is what I will be looking for, and I hope it makes sense. Like I said, if there's any questions, make sure to let me know. All right, and yeah, we can move on to the next metal, which is silver. And on silver, we actually have a trade opportunity. We have a buy limit opportunity. Why? Because we rejected very nicely from this daily demand level, okay? And we created this nice bullish range. Why? Because on the 4-hour, price broke higher here very impulsively, leaving inefficiency behind. We also have this unmitigated order block that lines up perfectly with our fire zone, okay? So now we want to see a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. And again, another great confluence is this huge imbalance here that might get filled. Okay, so that's another great confluence for us. And if we enable the TradeOrg indicator, check this out. Another great confluence. We have the graph, which is overall bullish, except for the daily. But again, we could reverse anytime on the daily as well. And what I love is this TradeOrg order block confluence on this trade. Okay, because it's lining up perfectly with our area of interest. And that's why this setup is a valid one to consider. Now, like I said, all we want to see is a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. Okay, and yeah, that being said, this pretty much ends today's metals analysis. As always, make sure to let us know in the Discord if there's any questions. All right, so now I will go over today's indices analysis, starting off with US30. Okay, so on this setup, on this pair, we have a very nice rejection on this daily demand level. But the reason I'm not considering taking a buy limit is because, check this out. We could say that, okay, this would be a very nice bullish range, right? And yes, that is correct. But the thing is, I don't see any imbalance here. I don't see any imbalance. There's only this fair value gap here, which is pretty much not in my discounted area. So that's why I don't want to consider this bullish range, because there's no imbalance. And if there's no imbalance, I would go against my rules. Okay, so to be fair, what I would wait for now is either a pullback towards maybe this area for then a to see an impulsive move to the upside that would break the structure here, and then I would most likely look to buy from around here to take price even higher. Okay, that would be what I would be waiting for if we would look for buys. But the second scenario would be for price to drop, break this low here, go deeper into this demand, if not even breaking it, and then I would probably look for some shorts around here to take price lower. Okay, this would be the two possible scenarios I currently see on US30. But till then, I will just wait. Okay, because like I always say, whenever we don't see a clear setup, it is just best to stay on the sidelines and not force it. Otherwise, our win rate will be very, very affected. Okay, less is always more. Trust me, especially when it comes to trading, less is always more. And it's always quality over quantity. Okay, so make sure to always have this in your mind. All right, and next up, we have SPX500, and on this one we do have a buy limit opportunity. Okay, so we have a very nice reaction to this daily demand level here. We also have a liquidity sweep followed by a very aggressive break of structure to the upside. Okay, so this setup here looks very, very beautiful. We took this range here. We also have imbalance left behind. We have this unmitigated order block that lines up perfectly with our fire zone. So overall, we have a lot of confluences for us to take this trade. Now, all we want to see is a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. And if we enable the trade arc indicator, we can see that the 4-hour is bullish, which is a good sign. And also, we have the trade arc order block that's lining up perfectly with our area of interest. And therefore, this would be a valid buy limit opportunity. Okay, so yeah, I hope it makes sense. This setup actually looks very, very beautiful. It also has that higher time frame confluence as well, because like we discussed, here it rejected from a daily demand level. Okay, so that is a great, great confluence. And next up, to end our indices analysis, we have NAS100, which again presented us a buy limit opportunity. Okay, so on this one here, we have a small liquidity sweep here, followed by a very nice and aggressive break of structure to the upside. Okay, we have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with our fire zone. We also have inducement right here, okay, because traders might buy from this level. Price then might stop them out, tap us in, and then go up. That would be the ideal scenario, okay? And if we enable the trade arc SMC indicator, check this out. Very beautifully, we have this trade arc order block lining up perfectly with our fire zone. And on the graph, the 4-hour looks bullish, which is very, very nice. Okay. And now, as always, all there's left is for us to see a corrective pullback in order for us to pull the trigger. Okay. To be fair, on the daily time frame, NAS isn't looking the best because it looks pretty bearish, but I do still think that there's some gas left in the tank to take price towards this level here, which would be a daily unmitigated demand level. Okay, that's what I think. I still think there's some gas left to take price towards this level here. Okay, so if we get a nice retracement, then we could ride that wave and take price towards this level. All right, so yeah, this ends today's indices analysis. As always, if there's any questions, make sure to let us know in the Discord. All right, so now I will go over today's crypto analysis, starting off with Bitcoin. Okay, so on Bitcoin right now, we are pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Okay, because we kind of formed a 4-hour range. If we look closely, check this out. We have this box here that price is currently playing in, and I just want to see it breaking out of it, either to the up or to the downside with a clear push. That's what I want to see. I want to see a clear push, because if I see a choppy movement, then I won't consider it. Okay, so I would either like to see a break of these highs here, you know, break of this high here, break of this high here, break of this high here. I would like to see an aggressive break of these highs. That would also leave imbalance behind. And then from here, I would probably look for some buys to take price into this daily demand, daily supply level in terms of buys. In terms of sales, I would like to see a clean break of structure below these lows. That would also leave a clean imbalance behind, and then I would possibly look to take some sales from around this area to take price lower. Okay, that's what I would probably look for in terms of sell opportunities on Bitcoin. Okay, but till then, all we gotta do is wait. Like I said, waiting is what we have to do when there's no setup available, and not forcing any invalid setups. Okay, so next up we have Ethereum, and on this one we do have a potential sell limit opportunity. All right, Ethereum gave us a much better structure than Bitcoin this week. And let me tell you exactly why. So we have a liquidity sweep here, followed by a very nice and aggressive break of structure to the downside that also left inefficiency behind. We also have this unmitigated order block that is lining up perfectly with our fire zone. Okay, and now we want to see a corrective pullback towards our fire zone in order to pull the trigger. And if we enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator, check this out. Check this out. The TradeOrg graph is lining up perfectly because it's showing us that hey, every single time frame is bearish, so go ahead and consider that short opportunity. And B, check out the TradeOrg order block, bearish order block, that's lining up perfectly with our area of interest. Okay, so that's why this Ethereum sell limit opportunity is valid. All right, moving on to Dogecoin. We also have a valid sell limit opportunity on this pair as well. Again, very nice liquidity sweep here, and immediately after we have a very aggressive break of structure to the downside, and we broke some significant lows. Okay, we broke this low here, we also broke this low here, and we even broke this swing low over here. Okay, so again, very significant break of structure to the downside, which again is another great confluence. Okay, after that we saw that it left some nice inefficiency behind, and we also have this unmitigated order block lining up perfectly with our fire zone. And if we enable the TradeOrg SMC indicator, same story. Again, super beautiful. We have the TradeOrg bearish order block lining up perfectly with our area of interest. And again, if we look at the graph, every single time frame is bearish. Okay, so that's why we will consider taking this sell limit opportunity on Dogecoin. All right, next up, I think we have XRP on our list. Yeah, we have XRP. And of course, feel free to let me know if there's any questions, okay? As always. On XRP, I don't really see anything right now. Okay, I don't really see anything. I can also scout the daily real quick. I don't know. It looks like, again, on the daily, we are kind of in a box. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So on the daily, we are kind of in this box here. And I want to see when price will break from it, either to the up or to the downside. And on the 4-hour, there's no clear range. There's really not a clear range right now. So I would just like to wait for some clear structure on this pair. That's what I would like to wait for on this cryptocurrency, because right now I don't see a clear structure at all. We had these huge wicks here, this huge exhaustion here, and then we had this linear push to the downside. Again, not a clear structure, so we are just playing it super simple. We're leaving the chart as is, and we move on to our next crypto, which is Solana. Okay, on this one, we have a very nice sell limit opportunity. And let me tell you exactly why. So we have a very nice liquidity sweep here, followed by a aggressive break of structure to the downside. We broke this low here, these equal lows here, and we left some very nice imbalance behind. We also have this unmitigated order block that lines up perfectly with our fire zone, and now we want to see a corrective pullback. And so far, we do have a corrective pullback because we can see price is currently struggling to head up towards our fire zone. Okay, and lastly, we can enable the trader indicator, and boom, check this out, another great confluence with the trader indicator. We have the graph, okay, that shows us that everything is bearish. I don't really care about the M15 because that's a low time frame, and we are on the 4 hour. So for me, the most important time frames on this graph are the 4 hour and the daily. Okay, and on this graph, we can see that both of them are bearish, which is great. And secondly, we have the trader bearish order block that's lining up perfectly with our area of interest. Okay, so yeah, that being said, this pretty much ends today's crypto analysis. As always, if there's any questions, make sure to let us know in the Discord, and I will see you all on the dork side. Take care.